In 2 and in some of the episodes, you're kind of, you play bad cop a little bit. You're like, eat your vegetables, Flash,
Yes.
don't go out at dark. Like, do you like doing that, or you...
I think a little bit of it is in my nature. I mean, I don't know if Grant spoke to this, but he calls me mom sometimes because I'm like, you should be taking more medicine and you should get vitamins and that sort of thing. So I think that's a little bit in my nature, but I think it's important to have that sort of as the female, the only female sort of in this Cortex Flash world. It's important to have someone who's looking out for his best interest and not necessarily like, what cool thing can we do with this superpower?
Are you worried that, like, the nagging might turn the fans against you?
I think it also comes from her having lost Ronnie as well. I think it's very close to her, and, you know, I think it makes sense that she would be so concerned about losing someone that she cares about, again, in a similar situation.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm worried about it turning the fans against me.
I think it has, yeah.
I think people understand and can get behind it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Do you?
Before this week's episode, what can you kind of tease about the flashbacks we'll be getting of that particular night?
I'm so excited for the flashbacks. It's a great thing to get to see Caitlin in her element. You know, she's a scientist and she's excited, and this is sort of their Mona Lisa. It's an incredible unveiling that they're doing, and she gets to share it with the love of her life, her fiance. So there's so much warmth and happiness, and I think that's so important to contrast sort of where she is now.
And what can you talk about what we see of the relationship, you know, with Ronnie, you know, in these flashbacks, and, you know, getting, obviously there's not, you know, a ton of time to show them outside of the lab, but to establish that dynamic.
And I think that was what was really important, and it was important to Greg and the writers, and they brought it up to us. And what's so great about Robbie, I almost said Ronnie, geez, oh peas, about Robbie is that he's such a wonderful actor that it was innate with us. Like, I adore him, and we have such a great chemistry just as people. So hopefully that comes across when you first see them. There is so much love there, and there is so much happiness, and you begin to understand why she's a bit of a sad scientist these days.
In the comic books, Caitlin becomes Killer Frost. Is that a fate you would or would not want for your character on TV?
I think it's really exciting. What's so cool about this show is how, at least in my experience, how faithful they are being to all the comic book lore. Like, they, you know, they are so respectful of the stories that have been told, and it's exciting. I mean, the thought that goes into the Flash costume and all of that, it would be exciting to be a part of that.
We've seen that Wells is hiding secrets. How much are Caitlin and Cisco going to become aware of this? Do they have any suspicions, or are they like, oh, he's wonderful?
It's hard for me as an actor because obviously I see the whole script and now I'm seeing the episodes, but, you know, Caitlin doesn't know that, and, you know, she comes back to Star Labs because she believes in Wells. I mean, if you think about Star Labs and the vastness of it, how many scientists were working there and how many people were there, the fact that she and Cisco are the only two that show up again, just in a very sort of silent way, demonstrates their belief in him. So, you know, we're starting this journey with the utmost respect and passion for him. I don't know that they're at a place where they want to see Wells's flaws. If that makes sense.
You talk about, you know, we have the knowledge that your character does not, that we will be seeing Ronnie again, but in a different form. Anything you can say about how she might react to that?
Well, we see Ronnie in flashbacks. I think that Caitlin's doing a lot of grieving. You know, it's a really tough thing, and it's hard for her. You know, she's having a hard time letting go of him, and she's displacing some of her grief onto Barry, and, you know, I can only imagine the trauma of something such as thinking your fiancé was dead, and then maybe suspecting otherwise.
Is it fun for you and Carlos to have sort of forming this rapport that these characters have, where, you know, they're obviously like-minded as far as their intelligence, but they're very different personalities.
So different personalities, and I think that's great. I mean, I think you really get to see it even in the top of episode 2. You know, he's got such, I want to say innocence, but that's too simple for what it is, but a passion for what he's doing, and, you know, a little, like, not childlike, but just an amazement of everything that's coming, and he gets so excited by it. And I think the contrary to that is Caitlin, who's a little bit more practical and reasonable and concerned about the consequences and things that are going to happen. So it is a fun relationship. He does such a great job, and he has you'll notice that he always tends to be eating some sort of sweets, and that is an evolution that happens throughout the show and that sort of thing. It's great. It's really fun.